Math 8. All right, here we go. Oh, here's my stylus. Now listen, guys. As you can see, I have written down, review your organizer posts. What do I mean by that? So what I mean is if it was red, but now you understand it and, change it to yellow, or if you've been practicing it, that's what yellow means. And now you're like, I got this, I'm good to go, and change it to green. Also, look at the organizer and see if there's anyone's red problem that has no solution. They may still have a question. And if you can answer it, go ahead and do so. All right. And why? Why would you do this? The reason is because we're going to have 3 new assignments, but I'm going to throw some old questions on, from weeks 1 and 2 on the quiz. And it's because I want you to be reviewing your organizer post. And don't just forget about a concept after we did it 1 week and think like, oh, well, on to the next thing. Don't need to know that anymore, right? We always want to be building on a foundation here, and we want to keep making that foundation stronger and stronger as we build on it, so it doesn't just fall down. How do we do that? Review, process, look at something again, and you'll understand it even more, the more that you review it and keep looking at it. All right, so hopefully we have our square root list. I'm just going to make mine really quick here. 1, 4, 9, 16, 25, 36, 49, 64, 81, 100, 121, 144, 169, and 190. Oh, okay, so this is 1 squared, 2 squared, 3 squared, 4 squared, 5 squared, 6 squared, 7 squared, 8 squared. I mean, I think you get it, right? You can fast forward me. That's what I would sound like. Fast forward it. All right. And 14 squared. Okay, so what we want to do here is we want to use our square root list in order to make some approximations, estimations, but educated estimations, right? So 72, so this is 8. 8 squared is 64, and 9 squared is 81. So, all right, so 64 is, the square root of 64 is 8. So that means the square root of 81 is 9. So 72 is a number in between 64 and 81. And so what does that mean about the square root of 72? It must be between 8 and 9 because it's between their square roots. I mean, they're squares. Okay, so what's it closer to? It looks like it's right in the middle, doesn't it? I mean, 64, then you got to add 8, and then you add 9. So it's like right in the middle. So what's right in the middle of 8 and 9? Is it not 8.5, right? So I would scratch that and call it like 8.5. But if it was 8, if you say 8.4, 8.6, even 8.3 or 8.7, you're still going to get the right answer here, right? Because we're doing 8, 9, and square root of 72. So from least to greatest, it would be 8, square root of 72, and 9. And we could do the same thing with this, 4, root 14, and 5. Well, 4 squared is 16, 5 squared is 25. Oh, so this is less than 4, because 4 squared is 16, right? So what must that be? Square root of 14. Well, that's in between 9 and 16, in between this 3 and 4. So I might call that like 3.8, something like that. Yeah. So from least to greatest, root 14, 4, and 5. And once again, because this would be if we squared them all, it'd be 14, 16, and 25. That's if we squared the square root of 14 squared is 14. The 4 squared is 16. 5 squared is 25. Another way of thinking of it is the square root of 14 is less than the square root of 16. So it's got to be less than 4 because the square root of 16 is 4. All right, so if you want, you can post about that in the organizer and we will continue to talk about it in class. But let's move on here. So similar thing. We want to order them on a number line. So the square root of 27. Okay, so I know that the square root of 25 is 5. So the square root of 27 must be like 5.1, 5.2, 5.3. I'll just call it 5.1. The square root of 16. It's another thing I need to know. Well, I know that's 4. And the square root of 32. Well, I know the square root of 25 is 5. I know the square root of 36 is 6. There's got to be in between those. And it's kind of in the middle again. We'll call it 5.5. All right, so then now we have, okay, now we have what we need. So, so this is the square root of 16. So that's A. A is the square root of 16. And this one, B, that must be root 27 because I said 5.1, but I know I didn't say 5.5 or more. Okay, so then this must be the B is root 27. And then greater than 5.5, that must be the square root of 32. The biggest one, so that is C, square root of 32. All right, so using some approximations, but we can reason out which one is which, like a little puzzle, right? All right, and we're going to use that same reasoning here when we compare the numbers. Comparing means, is it less than, is it greater than, or is it equal to? So the square root of 18. Well, all right, thinking about my perfect squares yet again. I know the square root of 16 is 4 and the square root of 25 is 5. So this might be like 4.1 again, or 4.2. And what is the cube root of 64? That is one of our perfect cube roots. That's 4. So that's 4, and that's about 4.1. So I'm going to say, bam, the square root of 18 is greater than the cube root of 64. All right. So the square root of 13. All right, thinking about my perfect squares, I know 9, 16. Square root of 9 is 3. Square root of 16 is 4. 13. Where do you fall? Kind of in the middle again. Good. Okay, so 3.5. That's in the middle of 3 and 4. So it's easy there. And 15/4. Got to use my week 1 skills here. Do some long division with the denominator on the outside. 4 goes into 15 3 times. Subtract 3, bring down a 0. 34 goes into 30 7 times. 28, subtract 2, bring down the 0, and 5. So this is 3.75. So I'm going to say greater. All right, so make sure you complete all the assignments, post in the organizer, and you will be ready for Thursday's class.